You have submitted your CV and now you're very happy that you have called in for the interview and you're prepping for the interview. One of the most frequently asked questions in the interview is, why should we hire you? Or it's also asked in a different way. For example, what would you bring to the table? Why would you like to work for us? Or why do you think you're the best candidate for this job? And many versions of this question, but this is one of the most important questions which you should prepare for yourself if you're appearing in a job interview. If you want to learn more how to address that question, stay tuned. Hi everybody, this is Dr. Samreen. I work as a full-time academic in the UK, and based on my personal experience of getting rejections and being successful as well in job interviews, I'm recording these videos to help you to prepare for the most frequently asked questions in the interview setting. Today's question is, why should we hire you? Now, as always, first of all, we need to understand why this question is being asked to you. Because if you think about it, we already have submitted our CV, LinkedIn profile is there. Of course, your interviewers have looked at everything and therefore they have seen something in you and thus they have called you in for the interview. Then why do they need to hear it from ourselves? The reason being, because the way we talk about ourselves tells our employer so much about us. The way we are talking about ourselves, are we confident? Are we good at conveying what we really want to convey? How are our communication and interpersonal skills? And in our own eyes, do we think that we can add value to the employer if they were given this job to me? So for all these reasons, we ask this question. And now it's your job to sell yourself really well. Yes, you heard me right. You have to sell yourself really well in the interview setting. How do you do that? Let's see. My top tip, show the self-belief and the confidence in yourself. The employer should understand and know that if this person has been invited for the interview, they definitely have earned this seat. And you need to tell them through the way you talk about yourself that you are the best candidate for their job. And this was not a mistake by the employer by calling in you for the interview. Now, always remember, when you're trying to show confidence, there's a very thin line between confidence and overconfidence. And you need to make sure that you don't come across as overconfident person, because that's not very positive. Secondly, in order to justify your position that why you are the best candidate for that job, talk about your CV. Talk about all the important things you have listed in your CV or your LinkedIn profile, which you think are the best suited for this job. So for example, if this job requires leadership skills, talk about the time when you led a project successfully and how was your experience of leading people. If this job requires you to have interpersonal skills, talk about a time when you use your interpersonal skills to solve a problem in your previous job. If writing skills are considered to be important in your preferred job, talk about the time when you have done that in the past. So what I'm trying to say here, always give examples of how you have done things in the past which would be really helpful for this job as well. Because if you are to tell the employer that I'm a really good leader, I have strong interpersonal skills and I have really good writing skills, how are they going to evaluate that? So you always have to make sure that you bring an example of where and how you use these skills to be successful previously. Now, I know what you're thinking, that what, you don't have a previous job. What if this is your first job? That's fine too. Because if this is your first job and you don't have any previous work experience, you can always bring in your school, college or university work in there to demonstrate your experience and different skills that you have acquired over time while studying. You can talk about a project you have done in the school or the college. You can talk of the fact that how did you lead your class. You can talk about the skills you have acquired during volunteering in the past. Another thing which can really help you to prepare your answer is that analyze yourself and identify your own strengths before the interview. Look at yourself, reflect, and self-awareness is extremely important in this context because you need to know what are your strengths and what are really strong qualities which could be really good value for the organization you're applying for. So here I'll give an example that how you can really talk about one of your strengths which would be a value for the organization for which they should hire you. Let's say you consider yourself as an empathetic person, which means that you do think of others when making a decision. Or perhaps, let me just give you my example, right? I was asked this question in a job interview, and the way I explained to them, knowing that empathy would be a big value for this company as well I'm applying for, I explained to them that previously, because I worked in a call center, how was my experience working in that call center? We were selling these solar panels to the people, and although one of our customers felt really unhappy about the charges they had to pay for different services they had used for this product, I, as an empathetic person, explained to them that why that was the case. And even though they have to pay this money, and even though I know that they're not happy with us as a company, they can move to another provider which can provide them better services at lower cost. Now, if I'm doing that, of course, that person would not come to me and I might lose that customer. But having said that, being an empathetic person, I have showed my values. And later on, you know what happened? The same customer went on to write a very positive review about us, that how honest and empathetic people we were, and we still recommended them a different company, despite the fact that they might not come to us. I hope this example conveyed my message to you. And this video was helpful for you to understand how you can really answer that question if asked. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope it was really helpful. Take care and don't forget to share your comments and feedback. Until next video. Bye.